Welcome back to the Knock-On Effect, the rugby show where we say what the pundits won't. The URC is back, and what a start to game week 1 we've had. The Stormers just absolutely spanked Leinster. In today's video, we'll give our thoughts on the shock upset and answer the question, should Leinster fans be worried? Let's get stuck in. Before we jump into it, take a minute and hit subscribe. We've already built one of the best rugby communities anywhere online, and it would be an honour for us to welcome you into it. Right, so taking a look back on the match, I want to start off with the Stormers. I really think it's important not to overlook them and just focus on what went wrong from a Leinster perspective, because the Stormers were fantastic. They've had a huge amount of turnover in the last year or so. They had 5 players depart during last season, a further 9 players including Manny Libbok left during the summer, and to bolster their ranks they've brought in 10 players, whilst a further 5 have made the jump from the academy. It's so hard to get a squad like that clicking, but they came out like a bat out of hell for this match and just laid down a big marker. Now, we just mentioned Manny, but the Stormers proved no Libbok, no problem. At times over the years, his creativity has cost the Stormers, but the torch has been passed to Jurie Matthee. Yes, he started a handful of games last season, but this feels like the first time he's really stepped up. 3 penalties, 3 conversions, and a try on the night is sublime. Through Matthee, the Stormers controlled possession really well and territory fantastically. Evan Roos, the Stormers 8, had 2 tries himself and got through a serious shift, while both wingers looked electric. The real statement, however, was their defensive structure. They held the reigning champions scoreless on the opening night. What an unbelievable feat that is. The Stormers' performance screamed of arrogance. It screamed of bravado. Leinster thought they'd come to Cape Town and get a win? Not in our back garden. This was a ballsy display, and the Stormers deserve the credit. Now, looking back at that match from a Leinster perspective, fuck me, that'll be a tough match to watch tape on come Monday. Nothing went right for them. A huge deciding factor in this match was discipline, not only in terms of the cards and the penalties, but in terms of attention to detail. Every time Leinster tried to build momentum, an error would kill it. Drop balls, lost scrums, lost lineouts, kicks out in the full, missed tackles, the list goes on. When I saw the team sheet, I thought it was looking a bit light if I'm honest, but there was enough experience in the squad. This was an old school kind of match. It was tough, it was hard fought. It's the type of match where you need your leaders to stand up and galvanise the team. Where were they? Henshaw? Frawley? Your captain? Where was McGrath? And we have to talk about Prendergast. I'm far from a hater if you look at things on paper, but if this is our Irish out half, we're in serious trouble. His game management was poor. His kicking was either aimless or out in the full. Ultimately, he couldn't get the offense going. He was hauled off after 58 minutes, and if anything, it was generous to leave him on that long. Harry Byrne steadied the ship, but by that stage, the match was already dead and buried. The broadcast flashed up 5 players at the end to vote for your man of the match, and Sam Prendergast was there. How he was included is actually mad. It'd make the more sceptical fans certain that there's some type of conspiracy. Again, I'm going to make this point. Prendergast is due this harsh critique because of the position he was put in. If Frawley was put in the spotlight for Leinster last year and Crowley for Ireland, then Sam would have had a year of growth without pressure and scrutiny. But if you call him a Champions Cup and Irish quality out half, I've no other choice but to hold him to that standard. And last night, he was a mile off it. Which brings us to the question, should Leinster fans be worried? Yes. Now you might think that's an overreaction from one game, but hear me out. I had an issue with the Reiko Ione signing that it took time away from the fringe players, and many disagreed, saying that Barrett only had a handful of Champions Cup games last year and some in the crunch time of the URC. He's not taking minutes away from anyone, yada yada yada. He did though. He took important matches away, which is worse. Matches where players can grow and gain vital experience. Bar a few players, this was a B team, and I mean no disrespect by that. Many will say that if the full squad played against the Stormers, there wouldn't have been a problem. But there is a problem. Leinster have never had an issue with their ceiling. It's the floor that needs to be raised. There has been clear and consistent issues when Cullen has called on the fringe and academy players in moments where the internationals are away. Maybe if Leinster didn't spend so much on Barretts and the Snymans and the Ioanes of this world, then the fringe players would actually be a lot sharper. The problem isn't when everyone is fit and ready. The problem is Leo Cullen hasn't a fucking clue how to rotate the squad. It's the same problem that we've seen at the business end of nearly every season under Cullen, and we've just seen it straight off the bat in the opening game week of the URC, and that is a big problem. But look, I'm only a fella shite man. What do you guys think? Be sure and comment below and let us know. We'll be back soon to give you the reaction to the Munster's first match, and again to recap all the games, so make sure you do hit subscribe so you don't miss a beat. As always, cheers for watching, catch you at the next one.